back to Soch Tea Talk Train of Thought with a series of episodes. In each and every episode, we try and bring the prominent personality on Tea Talk show to draw meaningful learning. They are the diversified area from where we get an experts, led by leadership, entrepreneurship, education, young achievers, and various walks of our life. In today's episode, today we are having with us Professor Vijay Kant Verma Chancellor of Dr.CV Raman University, Patna, Bihar. Sir, welcome to Tea Talk Soch Ki.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sparing a valuable time and being part of this.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Now, in fact, today more we will be talking in terms of an education. The problem concerning at each level of an education, we talk in terms of an quality and pertinence. India bears extensive difficulties in facing the requirement of growing and modern workforce in terms of an appropriate curriculum, challenges of an quality teacher, the challenges of an financial support for the students and an adequate facilities. Some of the needs that the Indian education sector which faces, like the additional challenges are inability to meet the different linguistic, social, religion and the local education needs which are there. To overcome these challenges, government have taken some steps. I am sure with the new education policies introduce hope for an improvement in the education sector. आज हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर विजय कांत वर्मा जी हैं. He is a chancellor of Dr.CV Raman University, Patna, Bihar, and also he is heading a core research and the innovation group CRIJ of an ISECT, which is a nodal agency for all research in the group of 5 universities which are there. The 5 universities are spread over different places in our country, and Dr. Verma ji is also an alumni of an NIT Raipur and IIT Chennai, and he did his electronic and telecommunications, and also he had a management degree and also in law from Jivaji University, Gwalior. And also sir had worked in a corporate like Bihar Steel Plant, Indian Air Force, and it's an excellent mix of an corporate and the academic experience which is there. So welcome once again back to Tea Talk Soch Ki.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Sir, now in fact ये मंच ऐसा मंच है जहाँ पे हम every personality they come and share their stories, their experience with the target audience to earn meaningful learning. Now in fact for the benefit of an audience, if you can share your journey from education till the first job like.
I was born at Chanda, a very small town that time, very small village in Maharashtra. I was 6th child in the family.
I see.
And my father was a government officer. And that time it was a British rule, and between subordinate and the superior, the norm was that either you are with subordinate, then you annoy superior, and if you are with superior, you annoy your subordinate or you task them. My father was first kind, where he was very popular with subordinate. So the result was that we used to get very frequently transferred from one place to other, and so my education, early education, was scattered in different places. You see, the first class when I joined my education, it was a small village, and only 2-3 government officials' children, they used to wear clothes, and all others, they were mostly naked coming to the class. And it was such a environment that in whole school we had only 2 teachers, and date of birth of my classmates was written same as mine.
I see.
And he had put ditto in everybody's against everybody's name. So that was the kind of education, initial education. and that time norm was that if you are very good, then you take mathematics.
I see.
Second choice was biology, and rest people used to go for arts and science. So I was a little above average person, good in studies, so I took mathematics, and that's how we progressed from place to place, changing places. So the result was that I didn't have very good friendship circle, because every 1 year or 6 months at
You were
times
shifting from one place to another.
And that time there was nothing like packages when you are joining your professional career. Like these days, that the child thinks of package what he is going to get. So that was not there, and I joined NIT. That time in Madhya Pradesh state, we had only about 5 engineering colleges. So obviously I took the college which was closer to my hometown. It was Jabalpur initially, and then my father was transferred to Raipur. So I switched to Raipur in second year and continued my undergraduate there, and that's how.
Sir, कभी shifting में from one place to another place to adjust to another place, like कभी कठिनाई हुई आपको उसमें?
Not much, because you see it became a practice. Ki my father was very fond of bringing home the children who were under threat of conversion. So always we had about 2-3 children in our house till they were handed over to some suitable people. And it was a big family. We used to travel in truck. There used to be a horse also traveling with us. So it was, and my mother, though she was a homemaker, but she was very tough on studies. So she also was a contributor to our study at home.
I see. And in fact, getting into an IIT, one of the premium institute, like how you happen to be part of?
Actually, IIT, that time it was not JEE. It is about 65 years back.
65 years back.
So that time I cracked DRDO examination for my post-graduation. Post-graduation I did from IIT Chennai.
I see.
And I cracked DRDO examination, and that's how I went to Chennai.
Yeah. And how your first break, like you were part of an Bihar steel plant, like how that happened?
You see, that time in 68, 69 when I passed out, we had fancy for, actually from very beginning, 2 career fascinated me. One was teacher, another was soldier.
I see.
So this was, obviously my mother was not very keen for me joining defense forces, because we had nobody in our family from defense forces. So that time father was keen that I should join some government service. That was the norm that time.
Correct.
But Bhilai steel plant was close to NIT, and we were stationed at Raipur. So the first call came was from there. So I joined that. But in my back of mind, defense was there.
Okay.
And that time 71 war preparation was on.
I see.
And I had cleared for Air Force. There were letters from there, they kept coming. So I had joined Bhilai steel plant, but when it came that lot of letters came from Air Force.
Indian Air Force.
So then I decided, I convinced my mother. So then I joined. Actually, in childhood, you come across so many stories from your mother, from your nani. I was fascinated by all those stories, like in Ramcharitmanas, Ramayan or Mahabharat. They were from there.
Yeah.
So I was fascinated by teacher. Because in those stories, Vishwamitra comes and takes away Ram and Laxman for studies to ashram, and all those teachers in those stories, they fascinated me. So powerful and so glamorous were their role in whole thing, like Dronacharya. So that was one, and then soldiers were of course part of all stories. So these two fascinated me, and when I got chance to join Defence Forces, I took it, and I enjoyed it.
How long you were there with Belay Steel Plant?
I was there in Air Force till 2000.
Okay.
And my wife was sick. She had some problem. So I took premature. And then landed up at Bhopal.
I see. It's an exciting story of Professor Vijay Verma Chancellor of Dr.CV Raman University, Patna, Bihar. I think it's an interesting, once at the childhood, I'm sure we all are confused what career to get into. But with heart, he wanted always to get into a teaching, and also he would his love was more towards as far as the Indian Armed Forces which are concerned. I'm sure, I think if you're committed, dedicated, and if you have something in our mind, agar apne ek baar thaan liya, I'm sure, I think nothing can come in our way. It's a very interesting story how Dr. Professor Vijay Verma have started his career with Belay Steel Plant, then went into Indian Force and become the Chancellor of Dr.CV Raman University, and how it scaled up RTNU University, one of an first private university in Bhopal. There's a excellent story. I think what's exclusive is on ttalk Soch ki. Just watch out for another episode with Professor Vijay Verma on ttalk Soch ki. If you like this channel, just go to www.ttalk.net, subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. Just catch up with Professor Vijay Verma in our next episode. Till then, thank you very much. So thanks a lot for being part of this show. Thank you.
My pleasure.